Good afternoon and welcome to Titan Talk. Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. Today you have myself, Captain Coop, and I do not have our local talent. If I call him anything else, he gets mad at me, but we don't have Major McFarland. Today I have a special guest. I was able to drag her away from what she's doing. She's got a long career with us. She's been a fantastic officer. She's done phenomenal work for us. Phenomenal. And I wanted to introduce her and her new partner. However, I can only pull one at a time. So today I have with me Kaylee. Kaylee's worked with us from officer to admin staff, and we're going to interview her a little bit and get her side of stuff. So, Kaylee, thanks for joining us today. I'm really glad I was able to drag you away, and thank you for the last-minute save on that. So you've worked with us from officer to admin staff. As an officer, kind of give us a little bit of background of your history here.
Okay. I started with Titan in March of 2021. I first started as a unarmed officer as I was not 21 yet. One of my first posts was a dialysis center, as well as a CID. After that, eventually I turned 21 and went armed with the company. I was a officer up until, I would say, about 3 weeks ago, and then switched over to being a recruiter.
Fantastic. With your career here, going from officer to admin staff, let me ask you, as an officer, by the way, Dylan, good to see you. He who shall not be named. He's not here to spoil it, so he who should not be named. Brian, thanks for joining us as well. From working as an officer, what would be some pointers? Because I always like having, when we have experienced officers on, I always like to get some pointers from you guys about that. What's some stuff that you would recommend to officers out in the field about? We've had all kinds of topics on the podcast about staying attentive and battling boredom and things like that. What are some tips and tricks that you have with your officer experience that helps navigate some of that stuff of being bored or dealing with those long days? Because we all have them. You get those 12-hour, 14-hour shifts where it just drags on. What are some tips and tricks you've learned over your years of experience here?
I would say I've had some few boring shifts here and there. You're always going to have some of those depending on what post you're at. Things that I do to keep myself awake and stray away from the boredom is when I was on a CID, I had a patrol vehicle at the time, and I would just continue making drives around, and I would go in and talk to the businesses and talk to additional clients that were on that post, just so that way I had some sort of human interaction, some sort of conversation if I wasn't receiving dispatch calls or anything like that. I would say also that some tips to be a good officer, or even a great officer for that matter, is you need to have good communication skills.
Absolutely.
Something that our higher ups strive to reach from our officers is communication. That's all that they want. Communication, honesty, just be who you really are. And
let me ask you this. I say this in our NEO class all the time. I don't mind the answer as long as it's the truth. You've known me for years now.
Yeah.
As a supervisor, you've known me. And on all of that time, when it comes to me or other supervisors, when it comes to, as long as it's the truth, whether we want to hear it or not, we're usually pretty well accepting of that. So if there's a change that needs to be made or something's going on that's making you a little late or whatever the case may be, as long as you're being truthful with us, we're always amenable to working around stuff and trying to make everybody's life as easy as we can, right? Is there anything that you would say?
Just get straight to the point. Be honest with what you're going to say. There's no reason to go around it or give other fibs or lies or things like that. Our captains and majors and lieutenants, everything above a normal ranking officer, they understand. They have been through it themselves. They are the most understanding people that you will ever meet.
Stop it. All right, so let's move into your transition from officer to admin staff. Okay. So that was a recent one, like you said, till about 3 weeks ago, give or take. And funny enough, you've actually worked on the dispatch side as well, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I think I'd forget. So moving from transitioning from officer to admin staff, that kind of gets you a little bit more behind the curtain. When you see that stuff, and now that you're behind the curtain a little bit more and you're in the recruiting role, as a recruiter, working in the field and now working on the admin staff, what's something that when you're seeing these new people come in that are looking to apply, what's something that you're advising them or you're talking to them about that would help them in their career that you think if they come in with it would really help them make a difference and stand out as an officer for us?
So I would say so far during interviews, I'm looking for, I would almost say, quote unquote, the vibe of you're not just here for a paycheck.
Okay.
Titan is a family. That is 100%. And if you're going to join the family, you're not going to be here just for a paycheck. We want you to be involved. We want you to actually show that you care and that you're compassionate. That's some of the things that I'm looking for. I want you to have great communication. I would say that's pretty much the role of it. That's what I'm looking for.
Good communication, willing to learn.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
and we have our orientation class that we're willing to teach and give you guys all the information. Is experience an absolute necessity for someone when they come in, or is there anything in particular that we're looking for that way, that you're looking for that way?
Definitely not. You can come in with no experience. We'll teach you. 3 years ago and some change, I actually came in with no prior security experience. I mean, my previous job prior to Titan was Victoria's Secret. So I just had a dream to go into law enforcement one day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make that step to gain some experience in the field and see if that's actually truly what I want to do.
And now you're stuck with us.
I am stuck with you guys. That's 100%.
So fantastic. Awesome. Cool. Well, when it comes to that, really there's not a whole lot more to it when it comes to what you're looking for recruiting, or you're looking at when someone's coming in. Is there anything you would recommend to an officer looking for career advancement? Because I mean, going from you've been around the ringer on that. You've been officer, you were corporal, if I remember correctly.
I did corporal, sergeant.
See?
As well.
So you've been up and down the ladder, moving from position to position. You've done it all. You, like I said earlier, you worked on our dispatch side through some stuff you had going on. What are some things that you would recommend to officers that are looking to advance their career?
I would say you want to make yourself stand out, obviously, in the most positive ways that you can. Just do a good job. Try to do your best. Stand out. Pick up shifts if you can. That's not obviously a necessity. You don't have to pick up shifts in order to get recognized as a supervisor. Just be who you are, and I guess definitely don't lie, because you guys do not like that.
No.
Yeah.
We're very honest people. We like honesty. Like I said, and it goes back to, I say it every week in orientation. I would rather get the truth, and I may not like it, but guess what? I'm an adult, and we don't always like the truth. Sometimes the truth sucks, but as long as it's the truth, we'll work around it. We'll do what we can to help, and we'll work with you.
The way that I always put it is, I would rather you tell me the truth, even if it's going to upset me right now, than I find out on my own accord. Because if I find out on my own accord, then I'm really not going to be happy with you.
Exactly. That's 100% it. When it comes to that stuff, our recruiters, our admin staff, our captains, our majors, our lieutenants, our sergeants, everyone, even our officers, just being truthful is the best bet. When I call an officer, I tell them, when I'm calling for extra shift coverage, whether it be overtime or temp sites come open or whatever the case may be, I'm shooting true. I'm shooting straight. It's, hey, I'm in a position. This is what I'm looking for. Are you willing to help? Are you able to help? And if it's no, then no. If it's, hey, I can, but I can only do so much of it, that's fine.
That's still better than nothing.
Exactly. And we'll work with you if it's something I can do. If it's, hey, I can do it, but I can only do it for like 4 hours. If it's something I can split and move around, I split and I move it around. And okay, cool. If you cover this 4 hours, this guy's going to cover that. But it's that truth. It's that honesty about it, is saying, hey, this is what I can and can't do, and this is what I can work with, and we'll work with it. That's the biggest thing when it comes to not only your side now as a recruiter looking for that truth, trying to get that information, but for us as captains and lieutenants and majors trying to find out who's the best fit for this spot or who can help in this area, is that truth, is making sure that honesty. That's really what it comes down
Absolutely.
to. Let's see. In a field of professional snitches, lying is typically frowned upon. I mean, that's probably one of the worst ways I've heard that put. But I mean, I would say that's just mean, man.
You would think that being in a professional field, such as being a security officer or anything higher ranking, you would think that lying just you don't do it anymore, right? No, it happens every day.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get the stupidest lies out there that you just know right off the bat that are
instantaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Other than that, I mean, I really don't have anything. Thank you for again letting me drag you on last minute. I wanted to do a podcast with you and your cohort and do introductions. I wasn't expecting it to do it this soon, but thank you so much for that.
I know you kind of just walked in and
I did.
stole me.
Oh, what's funny is I just generally how it works is because I generally have a plan on how our podcasts go and what we're doing when, and introducing people or whatever the case may be. And every so often I get thrown a curveball like today where McFarland walked up to me and says, "Hey, I got some stuff I've got in the afternoon. I can't really do the podcast because I got to get out earlier than normal. Can you pull somebody else in?" And I was like, yeah, I'll figure it out. Sure. And I was like, ooh, recruiters. We've got 2 new ones. And I just walked into where they were, knocked on the door, like, "You don't have to knock." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's rude not to, so I'm going to." And I was like, "So who wants to go on the podcast?" And they both of them looked at me and were like, "Is it mandatory?" And I'm like, "For one of you."
I have anxiety. I didn't really want to be here in the first place.
But it's not that bad.
No, not
Yeah,
that bad.
I try to make it simple and make it easy. But, again, that's just working around things. Other than that, I don't really have anything. Like I said, thank you for joining us, letting me drag you on this and humiliate you, just like I do ourselves. Just a
little
smidge.
I've been all over the roster here at Titan.
I say you've done a little bit of everything.
I started as an officer up until the day that I found out that I was pregnant, and you guys worked with me so seamlessly and got me over to dispatch. Spent my entire pregnancy over there. Went on my maternity leave.
Did an
came back.
okay job there.
I know. Watch it. Watch it.
But you legitimately, like myself, have done almost everything as an officer that you can. You worked as an unarmed officer. That's the one thing I didn't do. I started as an armed officer, 5 decades ago when I started, is the joke everybody says. I started...
You are pretty old.
Apparently. When I started as an armed officer. So you've got me beat on that, but you started as an unarmed officer. You transitioned to an armed officer. You've done CIDs, you've done stores, you've done everything.
I've done other on-sites. I've done some of our temp contracts as well. We've had some really big ones, and those are honestly probably the most fun, I would say.
I was going to say, let me ask you this: as an officer, what was the most fun experience you've had?
Okay, you guys might look at me a little bit funny for this one, but when I was on one of the CIDs,
No judgments.
One of our more quote-unquote ghetto areas, my favorite thing to do was have some fun with the crackheads, is what we would say.
I'm a little nervous now.
Just using my verbal. Using verbal.
Okay.
I always say my favorite thing to do was yell at the crackheads.
Well, given what they could be doing or where they're doing it, I can understand that if they're on one of our properties. And
yeah,
absolutely. I could get that.
Obviously, nothing off property.
Then hopefully...
Nothing if they weren't causing a problem. If they were causing a problem, then I like to yell at them. That was fun.
I was going to say, I think one of the funnest experience I ever had as an officer, and it was a few years ago, was when we did the Super Bowl and stuff. That was it was probably the toughest, the most brutal, like 4 or 5 days that I've done in a really long time. But it was so fun to sit there and interact and to meet everybody who deals with that and to go through that and to just experience that. Do you have anything like that you've been through?
I think one of my favorite ones was actually when I was still an unarmed officer.
Okay.
It was in the summer. We had a temp contract it was some sort of festival over by Union Station,
Oh,
Liberty Memorial.
yeah.
And they had a concert going. They had vendors. That was honestly probably one of the coolest things that I've had as far as like posts.
Okay.
Obviously, I've had some situations that are a little more
hairy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say everybody runs into those throughout your career here. You'll get at least one or two. If you don't run into at least one, you're probably on an extremely boring site, and that's why I couldn't. I had to move to patrol because I just couldn't do it. I've had sites like that. The site I was on just before I moved to patrol was just real monotonous, and I loved the site. The people there were fantastic. The job was great, but it was just so mundane that my head I couldn't do it anymore. I had to do something, and just sitting there was just driving me up the wall. And
I have to be constantly moving.
yeah, and that's the advantage of being a supervisor or doing the role I do now or doing a recruiter. No day's the same. Everything's different. You're constantly moving, constantly making phone calls, talking to people, and doing that stuff. And it keeps you going. And I had someone earlier, it was 30 minutes ago, go, hey, it's 1:30. And I went, no, it's not. And I looked at my watch and I went, oh, I have the podcast.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is 1 o'clock. One of the main reasons why I took the recruiter position, it's not because I wanted to get out of the field. I love the field, and I love that I can still go pick up shifts in the field as a recruiter if I want to. The main reason why I left is I wanted more challenges, something that was evolving almost, not the same kind of challenge every day. Like with patrol, you're making patrol hits, and it's the same hit every single day. You don't get dispatch calls every day when you're on patrol, or if you do, there's other people that might take them. I wanted something that was revolving of different challenges, and every day I have a new challenge. Every week I have a new challenge. I'm trying to reach these goals. But that's one of the main reasons why I switched. Other than my child, obviously, the morning schedule works a lot better.
Absolutely. It makes it a whole lot easier to deal with a kid.
Absolutely. I definitely miss the field a lot, but I'll be back out there one day.
Like you say that, just the way you say that.
Goodbye.
Well, good. Well, again, thank you for joining me today. Thanks for joining us on the podcast. I'm going to let you guys get back to enjoying your days and let you guys get to enjoying your weekends. Before we go, though, I'm going to go through the weather with you guys, and we'll get you all set. And then I'm going to do something that I forgot to do in the last podcast that I got a ton of messages over. It was fantastic. So thank you guys for reminding me after the fact, and I apologize. But getting into the weather, what we're looking at right now, it's been a little rainy all day today with 70 degrees. For the weekend, we're looking at Saturday at 80 with some clouds. Sunday, we got some more scattered showers at 82. Monday is 80, scattered showers again. Tuesday, 83 with the same thunderstorms going on. Wednesday, we're at 89, partly cloudy. Thursday, we get that sun back and 86 degrees. It's going to be a warm one.
Ooh.
Friday, 83, partly cloudy. Saturday, 83, same thing. And Sunday, we're looking at some more showers there. So looking like a little bit of weather through this week. So let's make sure that we dress accordingly for that and we stay prepared for it. Other than that, I'm going to let you guys get to it. And don't forget, hydration is key. Okay, hydration is the day before, not the day of.
When are we throwing a Titan pool party? That would be great.
We don't have a.
We can find one.
We'll have to get McFarland with his golden pool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll get with McFarland on that one. So thanks, guys. We appreciate you joining us today. Kaylee, thank you again for letting me drag you in on this.
Absolutely.
We'll let you guys get back to your weekend and stay safe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks, guys.